Hi, my name's PJ with Ixom, where we make fresh handmade tortillas. Today, I'm going to show you how to make tortilla soup, or Aztec soup as they call it in Mexico. Now to make tortilla soup, we're going to need the following ingredients. We're going to need 1 onion, we're going to need an avocado, we're going to need 3 pasilla chilies, we're going to need a sprig of parsley, a couple of cloves of garlic, 4 medium-sized tomatoes, that's about 300 grams there. We're going to need a dozen fresh tortillas, corn tortillas, 4 cups of chicken stock. I've got some fresh chicken stock here. You can also use the powdered stuff, just follow the directions on how to make it. We're going to need cheese. This cheese is ricotta cheese. If you can find panela cheese, that's the kind that they use in Mexico, but ricotta cheese is fairly easy to find and a very close substitute. We're going to need a few tablespoons of sour cream, a tablespoon of oregano here, and about a cup of oil for frying the chilies and for frying the tortillas. We're also going to need a few utensils. So we're going to need a pot to cook the soup in. We're going to need a pan and tongs here to fry the tortillas and to fry the pasilla chilies. We're going to need a knife and cutting board. We're going to need a medium to large size strainer. We're going to need a plate with some paper towel here to dry off the fried chilies and fried tortillas. And we're also going to need a blender. So the first step in this recipe is to get the tortillas and the pasilla chilies fried. So I'm going to take the oil, I'm going to put about a cup of oil in a pan. And then we're going to heat that oil on medium-high heat until just below its smoke point. While that oil is heating, I'm going to chop up some of the tortillas. Okay, now that my oil is heating up, I'm going to start preparing the chilies and the tortillas for frying. So I'll start with the tortillas here. So we'll open up the package. It's like opening a Christmas present every time. Put those out of there. And so we'll start by cutting these in half. There we go. And then you want to cut them half-wise here in strips. Now the strip should be about 1/2 centimeter long, or 1/4 inch if you prefer. Set those aside. Cut the other half here. Okay, so now I have my tortillas ready to fry. And I can prepare my pasilla chilies for frying. So you want to take the stem off those and try and remove the seeds. I'm going to use this leftover plastic wrap here to try and save the seeds so I don't make a big mess. Just break it open. Try and get all those seeds out of there. And also split it like this. Make it a little easier to remove the seeds. Seeds and the veins and all that. There we go. You don't have to be perfect. If there's a few seeds left, it's not a big deal. Some people don't even bother removing the seeds when they make this, but it is more aesthetically pleasing to not have all those seeds in there. So we've got all those seeds removed. Side. Now what we want to do is we want to cut the pasilla chilies into little strips for frying. So these strips you want to be a little bit smaller than the strips that you made the tortillas. So just under a 1/4 inch here, or about 1/3 of a centimeter. Okay, so I'm just about finished chopping up these pastillas. Now they're ready to go and I can fry them. Okay, so now my oil is just below its smoke point. I can tell because it starts to smell quite fragrant of the heating oil. So I've got my tortilla strips here that I just cut up, and I'm going to put those into the hot oil. Now you don't want to crowd the pan, so just a small handful at a time. And they don't take very long, about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to crisp right up. They'll start to turn a bit brown once they're ready. That's how you can tell. And you hear that the sizzling has slowed down quite a bit, so those are already ready to go. Let's take those out and throw them directly onto my paper towel here. Now if you have a home deep fryer, it's a lot easier to use than the pan and oil method. But I don't have one. And I don't think most people do, so we'll do it this way here. Now another handful of the tortilla chips. And it's really key not to crowd the pan. You just want a handful here. I might have thrown a few too many in this one. But they'll get too greasy if you use too many at once. Just move those around so that they fry evenly in there. That sounds like those ones are ready. We'll take those off the heat. Oop. Attack of the chips. Okay. Okay, so one more batch left here. I'll just throw those in the oil like that. Mix them up there. Sounds like those are just about done, so start removing them. And there you have it. So you got some fresh fried tortilla chips, and these are awesome. Can't wait to have that soup later. Have another one. Okay, so I just fried my tortilla chips, and now I can fry my chilies. Now these pasilla chilies fry very quickly. About 10 seconds is all they need. So I'm going to show you how quick we need to be with this. You can use the same hot oil here. Just throw them right in. And that's it, we're done. Get those directly onto the go. And in the end, you're left with some really nice chili oil that you can use to cook other stuff, and it'll add that nice pasilla chili flavor. So you can set that oil aside. We'll just let those chilies there cool down along with the chips. And now we can move on to the next step. Okay, so now that our chips and our chilies are fried, we can start moving on to building the soup. So, I'm going to take my onion here, a nice small onion, or you can use half of a medium onion. This one's a little bit larger than I wanted, so I'm just going to use about 2/3 to 3/4 of it instead. Chop that up roughly. Don't need to be too precise, but it's going right into the blender. And then our tomatoes. Just get rid of the bits of stem there. These are a nice heirloom variety of tomatoes that I picked up at my local farmer's market. Throw those in whole there, or you could chop them up a little bit. The garlic tends not to blend that well, so I'm going to chop that up a little bit as well. There we go. So 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Throw that right in the blender there. And then our oregano, so that's about a tablespoon of oregano there. And we're going to blend all that up. Now it doesn't want to blend too well, so a little trick you can do is add a little bit of that chicken stock to it. Just a splash to help it start blending. Okay, that's blended up quite well. Okay, so we've heated up about a tablespoon of oil in the pot here, and we're going to put that sauce that we just blended into the pot. So I got that here. Throw some of those pasilla chilies as well. Just about a handful there, about a third of them. Now that they've fried, they crush up really nicely. This will add a little bit of bitterness to the sauce here. We're going to add a little bit of the parsley there. So we've got the chili and the parsley in there, and then the rest of the chicken stock. And then we're going to heat that up to a simmer, and we're going to let that simmer for about 15 minutes. So my soup is just about done. I'm going to cut up some avocado as a garnish. Now if you've never cut up an avocado before, it's really quite simple. Just cut into it, turn it around the knife like that, and then you want to twist to break it apart. Now the seed is going to be left in one side there. Now it looks like it'd be really hard to get out, but there's a nice little trick to get that seed out. Take your knife, give a little tap on the seed, and turn. No, it didn't quite work that time, so try that again. That one's really in there. There we go. That's what it's supposed to do. So it just pops out like that. Now this avocado isn't super ripe, so the seeds are a little harder to pop out on it, but a really ripe one, it'll just pop out right away. So remove that there. Then you cut it into a quarter here. And then we can, once it's in quarters, it's really easy to just peel back, just like that. There we go. Then we want to cut this into nice little strips. And there you go. That's what we're going to serve into our soup. Okay, our soup's done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off the burner there. It's been simmering away for about 15 minutes. I've got my strainer here. I want to strain that into the bowl. There we go. About 3/4 of a cup to a cup, depending on the size of your bowls. There we go, and we get rid of all that tomato skin. Just put that there to sit for a minute. So we got a nice clear tomato broth here. We want to add some of the tortilla chips. There we go. And then we're going to get a bit of the cream on there. So a dollop of that cream. We're going to want to put the avocado in next. A little bit of that crumbled ricotta cheese there. And some of the chilies here on the end. And there you go, tortilla soup.